Richard Dyer Bennett's Sex Contribute. We interrupt this program to bring you a special broadcast.
Here's the bulletin. Washington. The President decided today, after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor and Manila, to call an extraordinary meeting of the Cabinet for 8:30 p.m. tonight, and to have congressional leaders of both parties join the conference at 9 p.m. And now we take you to Honolulu. One moment, please.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, indeed. Hello, indeed. You in Honolulu, Hawaii. I am speaking from the roof of the Advertiser Publishing Company building. We have witnessed this morning the distant view, the battle off Pearl Harbor, and the severe bombing of Pearl Harbor by enemy planes, undoubtedly Japanese. The city of Honolulu has also been attacked and considerable damage done. This battle has been going on for nearly 3 hours. One of the bombs dropped within 50 feet of KTU Tower. It is no joke, it is the real war. The public of Honolulu have been advised to keep in their homes and await results from the Army and Navy. There has been fierce fighting going on in the air and on the sea. The heavy shooting seems to be 1:24. Just a moment, we'll interrupt you. We cannot estimate yet how much damage has been done, but it has been a very severe attack. The Navy and Army appear now to have the air and the sea under control. Just a minute, may I interrupt this just a second, please? This is the telephone company, the chief operator. Yes? We tried to get John an emergency call. Mr. Kennedy, we're close to New York.
One moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we're standing by for further word from Honolulu, and we expect to rejoin them in just a moment. However, here's a bulletin which has just come in to the NBC newsroom in New York. Nomura, the Japanese ambassador, and Kurusu, the special Japanese envoy, were at the State Department at the time of the White House's announcement of the attacks on Hawaii. The two Japanese went to see Secretary of State Hall at 1:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and remained about 20 minutes. And now we take you to Washington.
Well, everybody, turn that down a little bit. Today is December 7th, if you haven't guessed already. It's the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor Day. The events that happened 80 years ago this morning left an indelible mark on Ford Island, Battleship Row, Pearl Harbor, and Honolulu. As you could tell in the account from Honolulu, The long-distance operator interrupted him because they were trying to put through an emergency phone call, and they felt his call wasn't very necessary. And you could hear him saying, "We're on the phone with New York, ma'am." It didn't matter because she had more urgent business, which probably was the case. It was the head operator, actually. Not just the regular operator, it was the head operator. This was in a time where long-distance phone calls were a luxury, and they were very expensive. And sorry. It's a very old broadcast and very old radio. Our hookup to 1941 is a little shaky. But anyways, Pearl Harbor has meant a lot of things to a lot of people. It's a significant battle waged on American soil. It's a story of courageous and heroism. And, well, you know, on both sides. Courage was exercised on the Japanese side as well as the U.S. side. I look at it from both sides. What they did, was it wrong? I think it was. I think what they did was less than commendable. But also on our side, we kind of turned a blind eye or blind ear to the warnings. There were definitely warnings that were coming across that we didn't pick up on for whatever reason. They were on the radar, but they were dismissed as a fleet of B-17s coming into Hickam Field. But yes, there were sightings. There was the submarine was spotted, this miniature submarine. There were definitely signs that were observed but not reported. It was Sunday morning. Why would anyone attack on a Sunday morning? Well, what better time to attack, if you also ask yourself? But Pearl Harbor is... Pearl Harbor today is still a very active military base. But when we visited back in 2017, the events of that day in 1941 are still very strong. They are very evident. They reach out to you and they touch you and they almost shake you. I know they did me. The moment we stepped into that theater and watched that film about the events leading up to the bombing and about the bombing, and then they took us out to the memorial over the Arizona. The sheer emotional weight that's on that memorial is incredible. It's intense. You can cut it with a knife. It's very heavy. And I doubt anybody, no matter who you are, would be able to deny it. You feel like there's a weight on your chest that is just, it's strong. And when you see the oil bubbling up from the wreck, they call those the sailor's teardrops, in knowing that the majority of the crew of the Arizona is still in her since that day. And you look up to that beautiful Hawaiian blue sky and see Old Glory flapping in the breeze and the trade winds. It's the most sobering thing ever. It is really, it's very strong. I remember afterwards we were sitting in the grass under a palm tree, just looking over Pearl Harbor and just taking in the sights after we visited the Arizona. My wife wanted to go get an ice cream, so she got up and went... Sorry, that was the refrigerator. She got up and went over and got some ice cream. And as I sat there by myself, I just started crying. I just couldn't fight it anymore. It just happened. And it is so strong. We toured the museum there, the Aviation Museum of the Pacific, and they have some very nice dioramas and full-size dioramas with actual aircraft. They depicted, of course, Pearl Harbor, the Doolittle Raid, and certain, points of the Pacific battle. Very well done. But standing outside of Hangar 79 on Ford Island on the tarmac and noticing all the pock marks and cracks in the tarmac and realizing that was from that morning, it's hard to stand without having shaky knees. And we're standing right there where it unfolded. And to knowing what was transpiring that very moment in the morning of that Sunday, December 7th, you can't stand there and just enjoy the sights. You can't if you don't have a soul. I mean, it's so real. It's very real, and I remember it. I reflect on that visit to Pearl Harbor a lot, especially this time of year. And I will tell you, it's important to remember it. And talking to the veterans that I've met and hearing their story, I'll never forget it. Some amazing experiences that they shared with me, and of courage and self-sacrifice, and it's incredible. It really is. But I thought I'd come out here and share a few remarks about Pearl Harbor Day since it's the 80th anniversary. I wore this to work. This is a real one. It's a genuine period World War II era Remember Pearl Harbor button. I took it to Pearl Harbor and I photographed it on the tarmac outside of the hangar. And for those who are my friends on Facebook, you probably saw it. The moment I took that photograph, my knees almost gave out. It felt like the floor fell out from under me. It was just so strong. But, yeah. I thought I'd share this little time travel back to 1941 with you, with the broadcast and the events that were unfolding that morning, as we all learned about it later that afternoon here in California. But it's amazing. Anyways, it's getting late. I should wrap it up. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope it brought you a little piece of history that's very special to me. Just for sakes, this Acme Inspector is dated 1941, so yeah, it's appropriate. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you guys again very soon.